personal income tax cuts worth $158 billion could be fast-tracked as part of efforts to overhaul Australia and get it out of its first recession in 29 years. A Live 2 political reporter, Eliza Edwards. Eliza, the government is trying to generate household spending out of all of this.
Yeah, Tom, the idea is to give people confidence to open their wallets after the national accounts showed household spending crashed by 12% in the June quarter. So the Treasurer is signalling the government will accelerate personal income tax cuts in next month's budget. Right now, the legislation would see stage 2 of the tax cuts brought in from July 2022, lifting the top income threshold for the 19% tax rate from $41,000 a year to $45,000, and for the 32.5% tax rate from $90,000 to $120,000 before scrapping the 37% tax rate under stage 3 of this plan in 2024. It's understood the government is weighing up whether to bring forward those 2022 tax cuts next year instead. Here's the Treasurer making the case for that.
What we are now looking to do is consider what options we have for the timing of those tax cuts, recognising it will put more money into people's pockets. More money in people's pockets means more income, more spending means more jobs.
Tom, in the past, Labor has been staunchly opposed to the stage 3 tax cuts for higher income earners, so any move to bring forward that tranche of tax relief could wedge the opposition ahead of the next election, forcing them to make a decision about whether to keep them in place. The Shadow Treasurer saying no decision will be made until a policy is announced.
They haven't announced anything yet. When they do, if they come forward with something specific, we'll engage with that, we'll discuss it at our end and we'll announce our response then. But if they were to do that, I mean, that wouldn't be a substitute for a comprehensive jobs plan. Frydenberg jumped up and he said the economy is really bad, and people said, we understand that, but what are you going to do about it? And he didn't have much to say. And so he started getting asked about tax cuts, and he said, oh yeah, we might do tax cuts. That's no substitute for the kind of vision that we need and the jobs plan that we need to get out of this in a way that doesn't consign a whole generation of workers to the scrap heap.
And Eliza, we had some state leaders saying yesterday, well, look, our borders going up have been helping our economies. New modelling is being used to pressure the states to reopen their borders.
Yeah, the government hitting straight back today, releasing this modelling showing ongoing interstate border closures would cost the tourism industry $33 billion. They've released these figures ahead of testy discussions at National Cabinet tomorrow, where the Prime Minister will try to get all state and territory leaders to agree on a nationally consistent definition for a virus hotspot. The Treasurer conceding this morning it's unlikely all states will agree. It's expected WA and Queensland will be the ones pushing back against that. And he also warns that the tourism industry, that more jobs will be lost if border closures are kept up longer than necessary.
It's critical that we get interstate tourism back and up and running. I mean, it's important to those people who work in the airlines. It's important to those people who work in the hotels. It's important to those people who work in the hospitality industry. It's important to travel agents and tourism operators. There are hundreds of thousands of people who make their living out of the tourism industry, and having unnecessary border closures is an impediment to those people getting back to work.
Tom, if the Prime Minister has his way, all interstate barriers would be brought down by Christmas if it's safe to do so.